2020 has been a year full of surprises that no one, not a single one, has ever asked for. So here's a little rewind of what happened in it. First, we have the Australian bushfires. The fire situation worsened at the beginning of November 2019 with increasing temperatures and a prolonged drought. In mid-January 2020, a wave of heavy rain finally brought relief in some areas hit by bushfires, but was nowhere near sufficient to extinguish the fires. It did provide a respite for firefighters in some areas who had seen only occasional breaks in the weather in the previous month.
Next up, COVID-19 global pandemic. By early March, things were getting completely serious, and by April, it was ravaging through most countries in the world. It had a name, and we started to understand what COVID-19 was. Masks, social distancing, and lockdowns just became part of everyday life. Suddenly, it seemed okay because we had discovered working from home. By September, the dust had started to settle, and we all began taking our first little hesitant steps outdoors. When a second wave began, in many places, it was worse than the first one. Next, Black Lives Matter protests. In July 2013, the shooter of an African American was acquitted of his crime. This inspired the use of the hashtag Black Lives Matter to protest police brutality and racially motivated violence against Black people. 7 years later, in 2020, nothing has changed, so BLM headed to the streets as a political and social movement.
On 4 August 2020, a large amount of ammonium nitrate stored at the port of the city of Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, exploded, causing at least 207 deaths, 5,500 injuries, and $15 billion in property damage, and leaving an estimated 300,000 people homeless. The Trump-Biden election probably go down in history with one of the most colorful individual elections in history. Trump finally authorized the administration to begin working with Biden on the transition. Won't he win this election? Now we can only hope all stays quiet on the western of presidential inauguration day, January 20 of 2021. And let's just hope it won't be another hero like 2020 was.